Number 1. The support and front theory. When I started out the game, I had already been introduced to the overcost system, where if there is not enough team life left, the unit will spawn with only a portion of the HP according to how much team life is left. However, I did not know what I can adjust my playstyle from knowing this information, so I just played the game as usual. Later on, I learned that it's better idea to let the higher cost unit die first, so that you would have saved more percentage of life when respawn. The next problem that came up was that even knowing this information, a lower cost unit tend to die out first because it has a lower boost and HP to begin with. So to combat this, we came up with the front and support system, where the higher cost unit would take an upfront position so that they will take more aggro than the unit behind them. This system helped me tremendously in dying in orders and improved my win stability by a lot. Even though I don't fully follow this setup anymore due to other problems such as high friendly fire rate and the support unit become irrelevant to the game sometime as it lagged behind. Its idea is still fundamental to any modern strategy and should by all means study by a new player alike. If you want to know the strategy I use now, I'll link the video in the video cards. Number 2. Melee priorities. Another thing I failed to notice exists when starting out was melee priorities. At the start, I really thought all melee is the same, which really makes no sense at all. But I would just choose melee by looking at how cool the melee look. Obviously, there is a lot to think about when it comes to melee, such as how much damage it does or how much cut resistance it has, but the most important thing to think about is its priorities. I learned that straight out, some melee just will beat out another melee when crashing into each other at the same time. So how this works is that we have something called a startup animation time, where some animation would just have faster startup than another melee. So when melee crash with each other, the faster one will win out. There is also stuff like the hitbox location, where some melee hitbox location is further away from its hitbox. This also has a great advantage when crashing into each other, as your hitbox will overlap with their hitbox, but they won't be overlapping with yours yet. After learning this, I win a lot more melee crashes, or when I lose a melee crash, I can understand why that happens. Some of the notable high priority melee are Deathside EW, 46B, Everlast BC, Destiny 8B, and many more. There is also a melee like Bale Sub with a fast startup, and not only that, it also has super armor as well. Stuff like that would just beat out nearly any melee it crashes into. Number 3. Positioning and getting a double lock. Map awareness is something that you have to develop as you play the games. I of course have little to none when I start, but the frustrating part sometimes is not about remembering to always look at the map, it's about knowing what to look at or how to look at the map. After I spectated some of my replay, I realized that I pushed too much into between the enemy. This is a common thing newer players do as well, as they would just push or chase without knowing where the enemy are, usually through the middle of the map. This often means going into two enemies at the same time. After realizing this, I tend to push a bit to the side instead, and that helped a lot because when I push to the side, you are further away from one enemy, allowing you to move in and don't get a double lock. So if you get hit a lot in neutral, try to inspect your replay and check your positioning. There are a lot more you can learn from positioning theory. I'll leave a link to one of my other videos explaining this theory in more detail. Number 4. Free fall or fast fall and how to utilize it properly. It's not a secret that vernier animation usually leads to getting hit. That is why we usually will dash cancel all of it as soon as possible. Summoning assists actually have this vernier animation as well, so I usually just cancel it with boost dash. However, if there is not enough boost, is the only option is to get hit? Well, not after I was introduced to assist fast fall. For those who don't know, this is an act of cancelling assist vernier, with usually firing out main or sometimes with other tools. It's also inherit motion well from the last motion you did, such as step or boost dash. So in general, it is just another form of land protection, since your assist will be active as well as you continue to fall to the ground. With this, I am already able to avoid projectile and safely land to the ground a lot more often. However, later on, I fully utilize this action better by using it close to the ground. The problem using it too high from the ground is that the enemy is still able to punish your land, since there is enough time for them to see your landing. So to combat this, we step assist fast fall close to the ground. After learning this, I was able to avoid a lot more projectile and recover my boost. This is of course is not impossible for the enemy to punish, but it does make it much harder for them to do so. So I hope you will try this out yourself and see if this improves your gameplay. Number 5. Losing burst gauge. Every veteran will tell you about how important burst is to secure your victory, so we must use it as efficient as possible. One would think that the only way to lose gauge is to spend it, but that isn't really true. So there is a couple of ways to gain gauge, such as when you deal damage, take damage, and when a partner dies. So what are some of the ways that you can lose gauge? In this case, I'm not really talking exactly about losing your gauge, but about how some action will prevent you from gaining gauge when you're supposed to gain them. Let's start with the obvious one. If you already have full gauge, if you get attacked, you won't gain any more gauge. Knowing this, it is a good idea to play very careful when your gauge is full. You can also prevent this from happening by burst before your gauge is full. Usually around half gauge is a good idea. So try to find a good situation to use your burst early, but yeah, don't just burst if there's no good situation. That is also a waste. Now the next way to lose a potential gain gauge is to get hit while the burst is active. Going into burst, of course, bring your many benefits such as mobilities and stat increase. This allows you to play more aggressively while you're having low chance of getting hit while the burst is active. However, despite all this benefit, you still should do your best to avoid getting hit in a burst. Most of it really comes with practice from playing the game and learn how to abuse the burst state while not getting hit. So do your best to learn as you play the game. Another common way newcomers lose gauge directly is from flipping at full burst. The introduction of extend burst, flipping at half gauge, does not damage your gameplay much in any way. However, despite what burst you choose, flipping in full burst will consume some of your gauge before it activates. This is like 2+ seconds you could have been in burst longer. So be extra careful or plan your burst timing so that you don't flip out of an attack. If you are looking for more guides, please feel free to check out my YouTube channel and feel free to add your own tips in the comment section. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my video. If you want to help support me, feel free to subscribe for more video and follow me on my other social media. The link will be in the video description.